If you had 8 hours of time to do whatever you wanted, what would you do? Watch an entire season of The Office in one sitting? No! Maybe you could listen to Taylor Swift's new album 4 times. Oh my God. Or how about queuing online for tickets to see your favorite 90s band live, only to be shown an error code and forced back to the start of the queue? If that last one was you, please accept my condolences. I am of course referring to the situation surrounding the recent ticket sales for the Oasis Reunion Tour, one of the most popular bands of all time announcing they were getting back together after 15 years. Unsurprisingly, it caused one of the biggest storms of hype and attention the world has ever seen. Comparisons have been drawn to the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, except instead of teenage girls going crazy, it is single 50-year-old men and depressed husbands finally releasing the emotions they've bottled up since 2009. But that's not where the Taylor Swift comparisons end. Like the Eras Tour, the Oasis Reunion Tour also used Ticketmaster as their main ticketing service, and the fallout from this decision has been catastrophic. But before we go into that, you might be wondering, what is Oasis? Oasis was a UK-based alt-rock band formed in 1991. Although the members of the band fluctuated between different people, there were always two that were present, that being the brothers Noel and Liam Gallagher. Liam was the lead singer whilst Noel played guitar, but Noel would also perform lead vocals regularly. I'd say their sibling dynamic was similar to that of the Hemsworth brothers. One that's younger and more handsome, one that has more talent and has achieved more, and wait, there's a third brother?
Oh, right, bollocks, you know what I mean?
Now, this band was extremely successful. Their debut album, Definitely Maybe, released in 1994 and was the fastest selling debut album in British history at the time. They then followed up that success in 1995 with What's the Story Morning Glory, which has become one of the best-selling albums of all time. Even looking back at this, it was crazy. But in the tabloid culture of the 1990s, they were interested in what happened outside of music.
Being portrayed as young hooligans. Do you think that image is fair?
Is this my question?
This is your question.
No, I ain't a hooligan. I'm not a hooligan.
Not here to get fucking good song out, mate. Fucking coconut star.
I'm not a hooligan. Right.
What do you mean, boss? They were just one of the lads. I mean, who doesn't have a punch on with their family members? That's just rock and roll, man. Quickly matching their success, the brothers and subsequently the band developed this reputation as the band of the people and anti-establishment. Remember that for later. At the peak of their powers, they played back-to-back concerts at Nebworth House, where across the 2 nights they played in front of 250,000 people, setting the record to this day for the largest demand for a live show in British history. With all this success and demand from fans, surely they wouldn't fumble this bigger bag, right? Well, in most parts they didn't. Over the next decade, the band continued to release music and sell out shows. But after several roster changes and public feuds between them, Noel announced that he quit the band in 2009. But that was their image. Their feuds were nothing new. Why would Noel leave like that? You might think, ooh, maybe some punches were thrown, maybe someone stole some money, someone slept with another's partner. Well, it was none of those things. Apparently in 2009, the band cancelled a gig in Chelmsford. Noel claimed that Liam was just hungover and didn't want to play. But Liam had actually contracted laryngitis.
Oh, right, bollocks, you know what I mean?
Which is very important for singing. Like, you need your voice to do that, and laryngitis doesn't help. But this was apparently the final straw. Noel just couldn't work with him anymore. Isn't that crazy? Imagine you're going through a breakup. Babe, I want to break up. What? That's out of nowhere. What? It's just been on my mind and I just have to make this decision for myself. But why? What did I do? Well, you remember what happened yesterday? Yeah, that's why. What do you mean? What? I got hit by a car. Yeah. How does that make you want to break up with me? Well, it makes me trust you less. You could have been cheating on me. I was in the hospital. It doesn't matter. I don't trust you anymore. That's why we're breaking up. Wow. Okay, but I mean, maybe we could get back together in the future. Really? Yeah, I just need more time. Maybe when I need some more money. What? Nothing. So that's how it felt since their split. For 15 years, fans have held on to the hope that eventually they'll get back together. Throughout this time, Liam has actually been quite vocal about the possibility of Oasis returning.
With all these people going, I wish you'd get back together, I'm ready to go, man. So it's all down to him, and I'm not putting the blame on him, but he's the one that doesn't want it.
And after years and years and years of interviews and questions asked and speculation drawn, the day finally came.
Oasis, we can tell you, are back in business. Isabel will tell you where.
I think there's a bit of a champagne supernova going on this morning. They have announced their reunion tour 15 years after their split this morning, and they say the guns have fallen silent, the stars have aligned, the great wait is over, come see, it will not be televised. They've announced dates in Cardiff, Manchester, London, Edinburgh and Dublin, and they say it will be their only shows in Europe next year. They start in July in Cardiff and they end, there's a bunch in Wembley in the middle, and they end in Dublin on the 17th of August. So too much anticipation, all those rumours proved to be true. The boys have buried the hatchet and are going back out on the road.
To say that there was an insane reaction to this announcement would be the biggest understatement of the year. It seems like people have just been waiting in the shadows for this announcement to happen, as if it were prophecy. And the great kings of Manchester, who spat beer at the front row of thine show, one day shall return. And this belief shows, the variety of people that I've seen make TikToks about this announcement shows the fan base these guys still have after 30 years since their peak. This wasn't clear to me considering I live in Australia. I know, shocker. But a common reaction on TikTok has been cosplay in a way. People in the UK are wearing their parkas, bucket hats and sunnies to dress the way Oasis did in the 90s. I can't believe I said cosplay. What am I saying? I think as the days get closer to the first show, the fashion trend will reflect this style even more, and we'll probably see a worldwide fashion trend of parkas, bucket hats, sunnies, etc. I was curious as well as to what the demographic for this announcement and this tour would be. Considering the concert scene right now is very much for younger people, I thought that most of the reactions I would find on TikTok would follow this same demographic. If Taylor Swift is for the younger women of the world, well then Oasis is for 50-year-old men. More specifically, 50-year-old men who have been trapped in a state of suspended reality, like getting married, having kids, and holding a stable job, where once they were just reckless youths in the streets of the UK. They were forced to repress their childlike desire of getting drunk with their mates in a random playground and conform to family dynamics, living a life of quiet desperation. And since the announcement of the reunion tour, the floodgates have opened. The emotional outpouring from these guys is insane. Some men may struggle to make tears after the birth of their child, but are happy to let the tears run because two old men are playing guitars again. To be fair, one thing just reminds them of pure, unadulterated joy and happiness, and the other is the birth of their child. What's even more heartbreaking is seeing the reactions of people from the same age group when they couldn't get a ticket. This guy is hurting right now. You know, as he is listening to this music, he's just thinking of so many memories. The time he heard their music for the first time. Maybe his first kiss was at an Oasis concert. All the beers that were shared, all the songs that were sung, all the throw up onto the pavement outside the show. Great times. What has been really funny is that a lot of people from Oasis's original generation of fans are getting angry at the younger generation of fans who somehow share the same passion as them. The original fans are kind of gatekeeping being an Oasis fan, which is such a funny concept. Older generations will frown upon stuff like, hey, everyone is allowed to like the same artist as you. You can't control who listens to them, so don't call other fans fake. But their biggest argument is you weren't even born when Wonderwall came out. You can't take tickets from us. Someone today can enjoy a song just as much as someone did 30 years ago. That's the beauty of music today. But that doesn't mean that Joe from accounting has more of a right to tickets than Brad the intern just because Joe remembers dial-up internet. After seeing these reactions on TikTok, my first question about the announcement was, why now? I saw a clip of Matt Healy, the lead singer of the 1975, talking about this exact question in 2023.
Oasis, tell you what, you can put this in. What are Oasis doing? Can you imagine being in, potentially, right now, still, the coolest band in the world, and not doing it because you're in a mard with your brother? Stop marding. They're like men of the people, and they're sat around in Little Venice and Highgate, crying over an argument with their brother. Grow up, headline Glastonbury.
Have a good time.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
Have a laugh. Like, it's all like, would you go on holiday with your ex-missus? It's like, I don't know. Have a chat with her.
Yeah.
Sort it out.
And also, you're not going on holiday. You're
Exactly. You're getting paid like 200 million quid. And you're Oasis.
It's so true. They could have done this at any time, as they clearly have a huge fan base. And let's face it, the only thing keeping these guys from reuniting was some issue between the siblings. Such a big issue that it stopped them both from gaining an insane amount of wealth. Let's do a quick estimate, actually. Assuming their current reunion tour plan has always been in place, they plan to have 17 shows. Each venue has an average of 80,000 seats, and each ticket is worth on average £150. The gross revenue they could possibly make is £204 million. That is crazy. And you turn that down just because of some fight you had with your brother? Damn. I guess that really must be a serious issue. Oh wait, they've resolved it now. Something that hasn't reached the same amount of spotlight was an event in 2023. Noel Gallagher had apparently split with his wife, and the divorce was finalised as of January 2024, whereby Noel Gallagher was ordered to pay his ex-wife £20 million and include their £8 million mansion in the settlement. So beginning 2024, Noel Gallagher is in the hole for £20 million. Even for someone as wealthy as him, that's a lot of money. To recover that whilst maintaining his quality of life, he needs a lot of money coming in very quickly. And you know what could achieve that? A UK reunion tour for Oasis, where the potential gross revenue is £200 million. Following that revelation, the issue between the brothers was quickly resolved. After all, Liam had no problem with Noel, and Noel was the one who quit in 2009. The whole split of Oasis was down to him, so of course he had every opportunity to make this happen. He just needed a bill for £20 million just to pull the trigger. So the tour is agreed and the dates are set. Now they needed someone to manage the administration and distribution of tickets to fans. It's going to be huge, so they need an organisation that possesses a lot of experience handling tours with ticket demands in the millions. For those qualifications, there was only ever going to be one option. Ticketmaster, the master of tickets, you might call them. They are the leader in the field of ticketing, and it was an obvious choice for the band's eagerly anticipated return. The sale date was set, and fans patiently waited until finally they could get their hands on some of the most valuable tickets of the decade. That night, I went to sleep as I was far, far away from being affected by all this hype. But when I woke up, I checked Twitter. I checked TikTok, and it was clear there had been some issues. Insanely long queues, site crashes, error codes at checkout, price rises, resale price explosions. I mean, the issues this fiasco raised were equivalent to trying to feed an entire family with one ribeye steak. It was just not designed for this type of demand. So many people were forced to pay crazy prices, wait up to 12 hours, or with the possibility of losing the tickets from a site crash.
They've gone, love.
Oh my god, surely we could have seen this coming. Wait. Crazy wait times? Price rises? Site crashes? This has happened before. Wait. Of course. This all makes sense now. Just over a year ago, in the announcement of the Eras tour, where Ticketmaster also handled ticketing, fans experienced the exact same problems trying to get their tickets. But it wasn't just in the US. It was an international issue. I know this issue hurt close to home as I directly heard about it from some of my friends who are Swifties. To say that Ticketmaster collapse hurt them would be an understatement. And that was the reaction of naturally confident and emotional people. Can you imagine what the reaction would be for people who repress their emotions? Like, I don't know, 50-year-old married English men, perhaps? That's right, I'm not 50, I'm not married, nor do I have kids, nor do I even like Oasis that much. But this hits very close to home, okay? And T Swift is not the only one. Reportedly, concerts for Bruce Springsteen and Coldplay have created the same issues. Even Harry Styles, no! My biggest issue with this whole fiasco were the ticket prices. For the same price as an Oasis ticket, you could buy a used 2000 Nissan Pulsar, all to see a band play live? How is this allowed to happen? Oasis seemed to agree that these prices were outrageous and posted that thought on Twitter. But it wasn't a stern, like, we've got to do something about this. No. Of course they wouldn't. This problem is making the money. Why would they want to fix it? It's more like, oh no, tickets are selling for $6,000. That's so bad. They shouldn't be paying that. That is so wrong. That's so... How much are we making? Yeah, totally. Like, we should stop selling tickets that high. I mean, we don't need the extra 500 million. And that's exactly the sentiment. If Ticketmaster is causing such an issue, and this issue has been present on multiple occasions, how hasn't anything changed? Well, the simple answer is because it works. If scenarios such as these lead to increased demand for tickets, which in turn lead to increased prices of those tickets, which then means more money for Ticketmaster, why would they change anything? It's like when you drive to a petrol station and you see the price of fuel has gone up. You can be mad and complain all you want, but if you want to fill your car up, you're gonna have to pay those prices. And because you have to pay regardless of how you feel, the oil company will always win. But aren't Oasis supposedly against this price hike and want the tickets to be sold at £150? Well, yes, they may say that, but a strategy that Ticketmaster uses is called dynamic pricing, which is where, depending on the location or through any justification they want to provide to consumers, the price of a ticket to the same event can vary depending on the circumstances. And whether or not Oasis present themselves as against this model, they agreed to dynamic pricing as part of their tour admin contract. If they didn't want all the extra drama that came with the extra money, they wouldn't have said yes. Or would they? Ticketmaster has been known for strong-arming both artists and venues as well as the customers themselves. Touring can be a very profitable business, but only if the touring company is in complete control. And they can achieve this control thanks to one of its merging companies, Live Nation. Live Nation is a company that promotes, operates, and manages ticket sales for live entertainment internationally. It also owns and operates entertainment venues and manages the careers of music artists. Think about that. Live Nation, who is merged with Ticketmaster, now has complete control of live music events and touring. They control the venues because many of the world's biggest venues are owned and operated by Live Nation. They control artists because it is also a music management company. So that's 2 parties out of the 3. And finally, they can control the consumer. They can determine the number of tickets sold and the price at which those tickets are sold. So as one company, they have control of the consumers, the artists, and the venues, creating the biggest monopoly in live music history. That's what I think the whole fiasco with this Oasis Reunion Tour has really taught us. Should the tickets be this scarce? No. Should they be this high a price? No. Are Oasis taking advantage of their fans? I don't think so. I think if there's anyone to blame for these consistently unjust practices in the live music industry, it's Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Through a complete monopoly of the space, they can take advantage of every single party for their own benefit. And no matter how much backlash they face from fans, media, and others alike, they will continue to find new ways to drain more money away from other people and into their own pockets. I mentioned when I first introduced who Oasis was that they like to view themselves as the band of the people, the band of the working class. But since this fiasco, there has been an ongoing discussion as to whether they can call themselves that anymore, as their wealth has far and away exceeded that of the working man. That they are less for the people and more for the corporation. But I also don't believe it to be their fault. They have now landed at the big boys table. The demand for their tour shows as much, and as long as your popularity as an artist matches the likes of Taylor Swift, Drake, or Ed Sheeran, you will not be seen as an artist by the live music industry. You will be seen as another way to take money from people and line their own pockets. And I don't think that will ever change. So if you are going to a date on the Oasis Reunion Tour and you have paid an exorbitant amount for your ticket, don't waste your energy on a corporation that won't give a toss about anything you say. Enjoy the moment, savor it, because out of everything that has happened, every injustice, every frustration, we can always fall back on one thing that will always be enjoyed, and that's the music, or the warm beers being splashed in the mud. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're an Oasis fan, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you haven't already, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're new, and as always, I've been Robbo, and I'll see you next time.